Hey everybody, welcome to our NFL show. I'm Chris Pugh. Got Canton Repository sports writer Peter Holland with me. Peter, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Chris?
I'm good. NFL's very interesting as always. Kind of weird the regular season's over. Man, just a couple months ago we were starting the season. Now it's almost over. Where did time fly, Peter?
Uh, a lot of crazy stuff. That's what's it definitely gets you through the season. So a lot of drama, a lot of controversies, a lot of adversities here and there. It will just flew by, and all of a sudden it's playoff season. So
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, interesting games. We keep our focus on the AFC North, but obviously we'll have to talk about other teams as the playoffs go along. But let's first talk about what are the AFC North's two playoff representatives. They played last weekend, Cincinnati and Baltimore. Kind of a weird game, man. Baltimore's down to the third string quarterback. Cincinnati didn't blow them out, but they kind of did what they needed to do for the win. I don't know any big takeaways from this game.
not really a whole lot. It'll be what, like 38 days since Lamar Jackson's been out. I think that's what Adam Schefter tweeted. He'll be missing in 6 games or something like that. So that is very unfortunate, and you don't want to speculate that he'll just hold it out just because he's trying to get paid or whatnot. We don't really know that for sure, but it might look that way. But it's really unfortunate for the Ravens that they have to rely on Anthony Brown. And, Tyler Huntley's also banged up. I don't think he'll be ready. That they got really depend on their back. So at least that's on the Baltimore side. So, and then Cincinnati, I mean, they're pretty much the high favorites. Everything is going well for them. So it definitely Bengals are going to be the favorite. But knowing the Baltimore Ravens, they're well coached. They're very good at running the football. If J.K. Dobbins is good to go, then I think they'll be all right running the football well. And their defense they're gonna smack them in the mouth. So you're gonna be expect for at least try at least to be a low scoring game until until at least Joe Burrow just turns it on and finds open lane. A really good match will be Jamar Chase versus Marlon Humphreys or T Higgins for that matter. I don't know who he's gonna be lined up with, but that's definitely gonna be a good matchup to watch. So it's gonna be very intriguing. It's two divisional games. They both teams always gonna turn out to be close. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
So, so there's a chance Lamar or Tyler Huntley won't play on Sunday.
Lamar Jackson's already out.
Okay,
Tyler Hunt,
Huntley's possible iffy.
Tyler Huntley is still up in the air, but right now they're really depending on Anthony Brown.
Oh man. Hey, I mean, don't forget Anthony Brown. He's young. I mean, he really has had the experience. I thought he did some things for the Ravens against the Bengals, but I don't think he's doing enough for me to say Ravens pull the upset. I'll tell you, Peter, we've got all these teams in the playoffs, and we got two games that could be really big blowouts when you look at the Bengals and the Ravens and the Bills and the Dolphins. And again, nothing against your Dolphins, but our Dolphins are still missing Tua and Teddy.
Yeah, Tua's already been ruled out because of concussion protocol. Skylar Thompson's gonna get this is gonna start, so it's gonna be ugly. That's for sure. It's not even just Skylar Thompson. The whole Miami Dolphins, like half of their starters are banged up. Terran Armstead got like 4 different injuries. Like he never practices. He never practices all year just because he got like 4 different types of injuries bothering him. Um, Everyone is banged up. They're literally it was just really ugly watching that Jets Dolphins game.
Yes,
It
it
was
was.
it was it was did you I don't know if you saw it, but it was quite unwatchable. What I don't know what else to tell you, Chris.
Well,
It's
I
not
watched it via StreamYard with our buddy Joe Frost, who does the Steelers show for me. And, Pierre, your team made the playoffs. That's good, but a little frustrated. Jets couldn't do what they needed
It's
to
a,
do.
it's a good stepping stone for Miami. It's a good stepping stone that they made the playoffs. So they're gonna be playing house money and just be happy that they're there and just build off of that. But they're not gonna do anything, especially with Tua not playing.
Well, we'll talk about it in a second. So back to the Ravens and Bengals real quick. Um, so like Bengals did what they needed to do. I think Joe Burrow admitted after the game he wasn't blown away by the performance, but they won, and that was key because if the Ravens would have won, I mean that playoff game could have been in Baltimore if this goofy coin toss rule that they came up with. Why did they do that, man? I mean, winning percentage, just go with that. I mean we understand why the game with the Bills and Bengals couldn't be completed. And that's fine. I don't know why we have to these goofy coin toss rules or whatever. So, what's your pick for this Ravens Bengals playoff game? I'd say Bengals by 2 touchdowns.
That seems about right. I think the Bengals will win by 2 possessions.
Okay. And then let's go to the other game, and then we'll segue into your Dolphins because that did definitely impact the Steelers. I'm still a little bitter about that. But Steelers and the Browns played. Steelers needed a win and a win by the Bills and win by the Jets to make the playoffs. 2 of the 3 came true. The Bills beat the Patriots, and the Steelers beat the Browns, but the Dolphins beat the Jets, and the Steelers are out of the playoffs. I'll tell you, I thought they had way too big of a hill to climb to make the playoffs themselves because they were starting off the year so poorly. I know part of it is they play an easier schedule as the season went on. I know they're still not doing great on offense by any means, but I gotta say, I'm encouraged by where the Steelers are compared to where they started. I'm not willing to say they're a Super Bowl team next year, but I think they're starting to go in the right direction. If they have a strong offseason, maybe they'll be a good playoff team next year. I know I was optimistic about what the Steelers are doing. I'm not saying they looked great, but hey, they were 2-6 a couple weeks ago, so I'm glad they ended up the year 9-8.
Steelers are incredibly young with a lot of future talents around them. So, and I don't know what's going to be the plan as far as offseason goes. If they plan on keeping Matt Canada or not, but they definitely got some young talents around that they're going to remain competitive as long as Mike Tomlin is there.
Yeah, I still think they have some holes that they really need to fill. I think the Matt Canada thing, I think he's starting to play call a little bit better. I still think he's holding him back offensively. Deontay Johnson made some news. People were speculating he took the Steelers off his social media. He had a cryptic tweet talking about, hey, get ready, something's coming. And we don't know if, he's talking about something in his personal life, his business, or Matt Canada or being traded. I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. But, no, I mean, I think if they have a smart offseason, they're in better shape. Kenny Pickett still needs to improve. I thought he had some bad throws against Cleveland. He looked a little too overhyped. Some of his passes sailed. I think he may have been a little bit too pumped up for the game. But I mean, overall, Pickett's getting better. He's improving. I don't know. I like I said, I'm not going to go here and brag how great the Steelers are. But again, after 2-6, it's miraculous they're 9-8.
They finished. I think finishing strong says a lot about this team. It really does mean a lot to them. I mean, even though they didn't make the playoff. They came up short, but there's something to build upon. Just something about just being competitive, and I like Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, of course, young. He makes some bonehead plays, and he's a rookie. He's a rookie. He's gonna make rookie mistakes, but he's proven enough that you can win with him, and at least as really a stepstone in the right directions. And the only thing you can do is continue to build around him. And they're not too far off. You got Tajay Harris in the backfield. You got George Pickens as your primary receiver. I'm sure they're gonna look to get some more weapons around him and continue to build that offensive line as well. So at least they got that figured out that Kenny Pickett is their guy, and I think they're gonna continue to build off of that and see how their offseason will look.
I think their season changed when Najee Harris played better, and some people said he was hurt and he got played for injury. But when he started performing better, they just, I know the NFL is all about passing now, but if you can still run the ball and defend the run, you're in good shape. And when they did that as the season went on, they got a whole lot better. On the other hand, the Browns, Man, Pierre, Deshaun Watson only played part of the year. I don't think you can say he did bad. I mean, he was rusty. He was trying to get better and everything. But man, I'm still, some people blame Deshaun. I'm still not quite certain about the talent around Deshaun. And quarterbacks can't do it all on their own. They have to have talent around them. And I don't know. I don't know what the Browns are doing, Pierre, to be honest with you. I mean, I know their season was over. Maybe they weren't as motivated to win. I still think they have a team that can win games. They're just not putting it together.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with Cleveland as far as managing. Just too much drama going on, on both sides from it. At least one thing for sure that's going to be intact is Sean Watson's not going anywhere. Just really knows to put it. There's just so many other things that they really need. There's so many priorities that needs to be handled. Like, first of all, you need a new defensive coordinator now that they fired Joe Woods. So, and we've been hearing rumors and speculations about getting Brian Flores. I saw Schwartz visited the facility, so they interviewed him. So that's probably the first thing they got to think about is their defense, and finding their coordinator to help lead his defense, and just take it from there. And outside of that, as far as where the Cleveland Browns goes from here, as far as players wise, dramas with Jadeveon Clowney at a point that he's not coming back. I don't think you expect Jadeveon Clowney to come back unless they bring in the defensive corner that he really likes. Maybe he'll give it one more shot, but I highly doubt it. I think the damage is already done as far as relationship goes. I think they're gonna have to really address that defensive tackle position, who's the interior front, saying that nothing really stand out from that matter. Offensively, they don't necessarily. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is really good, but it also helped us to find like another wide receiver, just another guy to get Deshaun Watson more options. Hey, DeAndre Hopkins is out there. That's Deshaun Watson's out there. That's Deshaun Watson's guy. Can't you imagine him? The Cleveland Browns. I don't know. They have enough assets to make it happen, but if they can somehow pull off getting Hopkins to come to Cleveland, that would be something that could be really huge. At least to skyrocket the offense and build around with Watson. So there's a lot of things that they're going to need to worry about with the Cleveland Browns, and it's going to be interesting how they're going to do this offseason.
Hopkins really is interesting because he did play with Watson and everything. I think the two factors against it, money. Hopkins wants a new contract. I'm not even sure how much the Browns have left salary cap wise. I know you can kind of massage it to do different things, but when you paid Deshaun that money and the jury's out on if he was worth that money or not, it kind of cuts in the rest of your salary cap space. And Hopkins wants a lot of money. And secondly, like you said, what trade capital is it to draft or other things? I mean, they're down first round picks from trading for Deshaun Watson. Do you trade a bunch of seconds? And how much would it take to get Hopkins? I think it's going to take a lot.
It is, isn't it? That's why I say it's optimistically. I honestly don't think it's going to happen because they just don't really have the cap space for it with what Hopkins' contract is looking. He's one of the top paid wide receivers in his life. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know he's getting paid top dollars. And they don't have a first round pick, so you can definitely eliminate that. But it was just a name tossed out there, but they got to really address having a receiver. They can't just rely on just Amari Cooper. So they got to definitely have to address that for sure.
Well, I think here's the other thing, too. Think about where Kevin Stefanski came from. He came from Minnesota that had a play-action offense. And I think he was there even before Justin Jefferson got really going in his career. So, you felt it worked. You had the Kirk Cousins type. You had who is that backup? I can't even think of him now. Case Keenum, right? He was with them. I mean, you had guys like that who Stefanski's system worked better for. Now, I mean, that's not really Deshaun Watson's system. And I saw an interview with him after the Steelers game, which said, hey, we're looking at a totally different system. And I think that would fit Deshaun's talent level better. But as you said, they got to get a receiver. I mean, Amari Cooper, when he's good, but he's inconsistent. And Peoples Jones is inconsistent too. I mean, you got to get better receivers to go with, Watson. And, the Hopkins thing kind of makes sense if they have the capital. But like you said, do they have the capital for it? It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's kind of the question I got with the Browns. I mean, they got talented players. You look at guys like Myles Garrett, you look at guys like Nick Chubb, and there's always those questions there. How do they put it all together? And the Browns always seem to win the offseason. I'm sure they'll get a free agent signing that's going to make everyone excited, but they just can't put it together in the field. And I don't know. It looks like Stefanski is going to stay. Is that your thinking too?
I haven't really seen any signs of Stefanski getting let go. I think they're planning on keeping him. At least let him get the off season to work with Deshaun Watson and see if where they go as far as building around Watson and where they go from there. I have if Stefanski will be gone, he would have been gone by now. Black money already happened. So it's clearly that they're going to give him. They're planning on having this defense get another shot. And especially now that they got rid of Joe Woods, that was probably the biggest stepping stone for the Browns, at least. For Stefanski to make things right and have better coaching around his staff. So I think that's probably what it's looking like with the Browns.
Well, and again, it's the last game of the year. The Browns are out of the playoffs. You can't base everything on there, but man, you win against the Steelers team. I know that they're improving, but they're still kind of, even when, Pickett started looking better, he wasn't scoring a lot of points. And I'll tell you, Browns get 20 points this weekend to the Steelers offense. Oh, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think you had to do stuff with Joe Woods.
Browns fans, they've been coming for his hand for a while now. So, yeah, the defense has been bad. I mean, it also doesn't help that the back end has been injured all year long, especially the linebacking core. But it's gonna be interesting to see who's gonna replace Joe Woods. Obviously the favorites is Brian Flores, but we'll see where it goes. If they want to pursue a guy who is high strong, he's a really good defensive minded coach. He's a guy who who will get this defense straight, and he's a guy that's gonna make his back seven fly around and create turnovers. So even with a little less talent around him, a high strong coach like him, definitely a possibility. It's just a matter of can him and Stefanski get on the same page. So that would probably be a major question if that would be the case. But Jim Schwartz is another name that, like I said, he was at the facility. So that's another name out there. Those are the two names I could think of top of my head, but I'm sure they're looking at other options as well.
If I'm a defensive coordinator too, I mean, don't just win the offseason. I mean, the Browns spend money, the Browns bring in some names, but get guys that can flow together. And the Jadeveon Clowney, Pierre, I'll be honest with you, I think in theory I really like Jadeveon Clowney. He has a hard time staying on the field. I mean, if he's healthy, look out. But he's had a hard time staying on the field, and hey, when you don't make the playoffs, you get grumpy. I know he had a comment, saying I want out here and everything, but what do you say? I mean, they don't make the playoffs. I mean, how would you feel if you're Jadeveon Clowney? Everyone's like, oh, how dare you do that?
The problem is not him being healthy. It's just they are so focused on or at least that's what Jadeveon is claiming, that they're building this team around Myles Garrett. Like, all the plays are made from Myles Garrett, and you feel like Jadeveon Clowney is being isolated from that. So, like, why is he not getting the same amount of plays for him the same way for Myles Garrett? He feel like he's being underutilized, basically, and he feel like he is good enough to not only play at the Myles Garrett level, even then some. So that's the kind of mind that he is on. And if he can't do that here, and he's probably going to take his chance elsewhere.
What's with the Saints defense lineman Cam Jordan saying, "I'm not going to Cleveland"? I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, well, you supposedly using free agency this year, and apparently when the Saints went to Cleveland to play a game a couple weeks ago, there was something he didn't like because, like, on Twitter, he was like, "I ain't going to Cleveland." Like, I think a fan asked him or something. It was funny he responded that way. Like, you always talk about never close the door or burn a bridge. He's like burning bridges. You know, he's like, all right, I'm not going to Cleveland. I'll go anywhere else. So,
man, not really going to be into that.
Very
talking to him. So,
all right. Well, hey, football keeps continuing on, even though some of our AFC North teams are out. We'll be back to the playoffs, talk about that. And, man, the NFL offseason, Pierre. I mean, we can talk NFL every week. So, we'll talk some offseason stuff when that time comes as well. So keep tuned later on. We're going to look at that great national title game, which was a game for, 10 seconds, and then it was over. And we'll also talk about Ohio State and what they can start to do because apparently it's Georgia's world and we're all just living in it. And how do other teams catch up? So for Pierre, this is Chris. Thanks for checking out our NFL show. Have a great day, everybody.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Mooney. Welcome to what is our new Hope Interrupted podcast based on the work from our book, Hope Interrupted, that I co-authored with my good friend Byron McCauley.
Hey, Jennifer, I'm looking forward to this podcast as much as I was looking forward to writing this book with you. We hope to interview some high-impact folks as well as have a little fun.
We're going to cover stories of hope. To learn more about our podcast and our book, please visit www.hopeinterrupted.com.